Okay, there's been a lot of discussion about, aren't they required to include small suppliers? The small suppliers is 3.5 million in revenues or less per year. That's the definition. The statute actually says that CMS must give small suppliers an opportunity to participate. That is the exact verbiage. So there is not a requirement, but CMS has interpreted that to be a goal. And what CMS wrote into their regulations is that we want there to be at least 30% by number of contractors, small suppliers, for every product category in every bid area. In the previous bid rounds, CMS said that at least 60% of the contractors were small. And we realized that was the case because a lot of these people had never done a Medicare item in the past, so they were very, 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 very small, not even approaching the 3.5 million mark. So under the current program, and I would expect with the reduced number of suppliers participating, the impact of the bid bond and whatever, that small supplier participation, CMS may be working on that a little harder this time. The goal is to have at least 30%. In that initial round of contractors, which we'll talk about, if there are not 30% by number, CMS will go to the next person up, essentially the one whose bid was too high, didn't make it, if they are a small supplier, and offer them a contract, but the bid price doesn't go up. It's at the same clearing price. And they will go up until there's no more qualified small suppliers to reach that 30% target. That's the mechanics of how. So it's not a requirement, but it is a real goal that CMS will abide by. The question in the back with the light blue shirt? It's the number of providers, 30%. So if there end up being 30 contractors, I did the math easily. What is that, 3? No. 10? 10?
Yeah.
10, thank you. It's like, whoa, this is high math. It's 9?
9, yeah.
Okay, 9 have to be small suppliers, 9 contractors.
It is not a small supplier set aside.
Right.
Of those 9 contractors that get the proverbial piece of paper, they might only sell 1% of the entire reimbursement. So it is not the same as a female minority set aside by example. It is only their opportunity that $3.5 million and smaller suppliers can get into this game. And by the way, $3.5 million is not Medicare. As we've sometimes said, it includes greeting cards. It's everything.
Total revenue. Total revenue.
And is it based on the definition of the small supplier? Is that based on that individual P10 numbers or the corporate, like we own a bunch of companies, so would it be based on our individual P10s for the location, or we would be determined whether we are a small based on our corporate finances?
The legal bidding entity may have 1 or more P10 numbers. That legal bidding entity under a tax ID will be the top number that you're referencing. So for instance, you might have a small WindCare operation in Chicago that does $1 million a year. That WindCare operation would not be included in that 30%.
So it's the entire corporation,
Correct.
Essentially. Right.
And again, sir, there is a fact sheet on that. I think we'll probably say this over and over again. If we do any homework today under dmecompetitivebid.com, those fact sheets have improved over the years, and they're generally readable.
So when they line up, and they line you up by the qualified suppliers, they line you up by your bid price from low to high. It's blind as to whether you're a small or large supplier. It's only after they have reached the requisite amount to meet the demand is when they will go over that